Today on Destination Polaris, we race off to Utah to ride the famous Pony Express Trail.
I don't see anybody coming.
Then, we go in search of a mystical spot near the Great Salt Lake.
Destination Polaris starts right now.
Destination Polaris is presented by Rugged Radios, the authority in communications.
Welcome to Destination Polaris. We are in Utah at 10,000 feet. We're gonna play in the dirt today, but we're also gonna have some fun in the snow.
So, what are we doing in the snow, right? This is an off-road show. Well, when you get the chance to do both in the same place, you don't say no. We set up base camp at Daniels Summit Lodge near Heber City, Utah. Daniels Summit is located about an hour southeast of Salt Lake City.
So the original plan was to ride around Daniels Summit, but just before we got here, Utah got slammed with a ton of snow. So we made our way down the mountain and ended up here at the Pony Express Trail.
Guiding us today is local Rich Paul. Rich has spent his entire life in Utah.
The Pony Express Trail goes on this road right there.
The Pony Express roared to life in 1860 as a horse-ridden mail service. At its peak, the Express could deliver mail from coast to coast in just 10 days.
You know, those old boys back in that day, they had to be pretty tough Jose's to ride those horses the length they did.
Those old Pony Express trails now serve as an off-road destination.
It's all opened on this trail for ATVs and side-by-sides.
Out here on the Pony Express, it looks and feels like the Wild West. Just off in the distance, wild horses.
Really nice Roni looking one out there.
15, maybe a little more.
The coolest thing for me is I'm a horse guy. I love the old mountains and the Wild West, and to see these horses that we've been able to see today and know and understand why they're here, and I hope they stay forever. There's 3 or 4 spots in the state of Utah and Nevada that they have designated areas set aside for these wild horses.
Follow the wild horses, and they'll lead you here, one of the Pony Express checkpoints.
So the state of Utah has come in and they've made these monuments, and they've done a nice job of doing it and letting us know about our heritage and what went before us.
The Pony Express.
Hey, it's good to be here, isn't it?
So Rich, this is one of the buildings, or is it a rebuild building?
It's a rebuild. Actually, if you could pan across right there, I think that was the original. But they've rebuilt this to show us what it was like.
So is this where you're going to be staying tonight, or me, or how we were doing
You know,
it?
if we had to draw straws, I think you're going to get the short one.
Of course.
This is the Pony Express. There's still signs and historical markers all the way.
You read about the Pony Express, and those were tough people, and it's history, and it's just cool.
All the way west.
All the way home for me that way.
Yeah.
I need more gas.
If you gotta walk, we'll see you later. Hey guys, let's check this out.
Well, horses have been in here. There's hay in here. Yeah, they definitely have obviously redone it in here, but
Yeah, new timber, but it still gives you the idea.
I don't see anybody coming. Just saying.
No one out here on the trail today, so we brought along our own cowboy.
Oh man, I haven't shaved my mustache since my son was born, and he's coming on 10. So, yeah. You know, a lot of people want to touch it, and I don't know what the fascination is with wanting to touch it. I don't want to say older women, but older women get a kick out of it. I don't know what it is with it. Chicks dig it. You know, if they don't pull on it or whatever, I'm fine with it.
Greg, I'm not gonna touch that stash, but I do have an idea.
you know what I think we should do now?
Go find another one.
No, have lunch.
I'm always ready to eat.
All right, guys, let's make your own lunch today. We got bread, we got some lettuce, tomatoes. You just put cookies in between the bread. Here's the meat. Cheese, turkey, some fancy honey ham. Nothing but the finest today. So we're gonna saddle up, leave the Pony Express behind, and head to a place with a golden spike. You're watching Destination Polaris.
Destination Polaris is sponsored by the Polaris Visa Card. Power your passion. Earn Polaris cash on your everyday purchases. Polaris Adventures. Safe, memorable adventures. B&W Trailer Hitches. Towing adventure. And by Aluma Trailers, the best aluminum trailers available.
Welcome back to Destination Polaris. We've hooked up with some locals for a ride along the famous Pony Express Trail.
These posters talk about it was a fool's idea, but they thought, hey, we can pull this off. People say it can't be done. I kind of like that.
The Pony Express lasted just 19 months. Delivering the mail soon chugged along much faster.
So Gordon, we've been to the Pony Express, and now you brought us to the Transcontinental Railroad. And the old railroad kind of went around the Salt Lake here and touched all these towns?
Yep, those are all old towns that the railroad used to come across. They figured out that they could build a causeway, and they went from what was called Lucin all the way across the Great Salt Lake. They touched what's called now Promontory Point and went straight into Ogden.
Right off the Pony Express Trail, you'll find the Transcontinental Railroad and a famous landmark. It was here in 1869 they connected the Union Pacific and Central Pacific Railroads with a golden spike.
Presidents of the two railroads, they got to drive that spike, and it was a big ceremony. They even hooked up a telegraph to the spike, so when it was hit, it was heard on both ends of the rail lines to know that the rails had met.
So can you imagine, 1869, you got a railroad coming from the west and a railroad coming from the east, and they connected just right up there.
Right, just over the summit. There's a visitor center, it's a national monument.
So that's kind of where almost our worlds came together in the States.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Connected everything. Pretty big deal, yeah. It changed the trip across the United States from months to a matter of days.
So where's the old track now?
Well, in World War II, they tore up all the old tracks to use them for the war effort.
No kidding.
Because they had built a new railroad across the Great Salt Lake, and it was scrap iron at that time.
The Pony Express and the Transcontinental Railroad. Just two of many crazy cool things you'll find riding in Utah.
Utah is full of history, I think just because it's in the middle of the United States and a lot of things came through here.
Kind of know what this part of the state looks like, and it's like, hey, you know, every day is a new adventure. There's something to see and something to do, and let's do it.
One thing I've learned about Utah is the more places I ride, the more places I learn I haven't ridden.
Okay, we spent 2 days riding around on the dirt, but with all this fresh snow, I think it's time to pull out the snowmobiles and go for a ride. You're watching Destination Polaris.
Destination Polaris is sponsored by the Polaris Visa Card. Power your passion. Earn Polaris cash on your everyday purchases. B&W Trailer Hitches, towing adventure. And by Aluma Trailers, the best aluminum trailers available.
Welcome back to Destination Polaris. We are in Utah, just east of Park City, staying here at Daniel Summit Lodge. And now we're gonna get to do something we never get to do, and that's play in the snow. All right, here we go. Should be fun. Zipper goes in the front, big guy. Good to go.
Daniel Summit runs a full fleet of snowmobile rentals right out their front door. From groomed trails to full-on backcountry, it's wide open.
The scenery here in Utah is amazing, but I don't think there's a better place to see it than right here.
Brent Hill opened up Daniel Summit in 1993.
We thought, as much as we like it, we figured that there'd be enough of the world that would like it that we can make a business out of it.
They started with a little restaurant, convenience store, and some sleds. 25 years later, Daniel Summit has grown into a full-service lodge and is one of the premier outfitters in Utah.
As time went on, we got busier, and so we added on to the store, made it a little bit bigger, and then we started adding a little bit of lodging.
Brent built most of the buildings with his 3 sons, including Alan, who is on the ride with us today.
Fun to be up here with him. He's a great guy.
The plan was, and the hope was, that the kids would get involved and enjoy it, and it could be something we could all do together. It's worked out that way.
All right, guys, lead the way. We're headed to Strawberry Ridge at darn near 10,000 feet. I'm gonna stick to the groomed trails, but Alan, not so much.
Well,
Well, we do like to jump that road right there. It's so inviting to just cruise through those trees and kind of hop over that road.
Alan grew up on this mountain, and one of our first stops is his old stomping grounds. Brent calls this Alan's Hill. When Alan was a kid, this hill was as far as they could ride snowmobiles from the lodge.
He just wanted to know what area we were kind of in case he had to come looking for us usually, I think.
A quick stop of the hill, and we're off to the top of the ridge.
We're looking back towards the Strawberry Valley and Strawberry Reservoir.
These are strawberry ridges as we come along, kind of this ridge cruises all the way along. Realistically, from Provo Canyon, man, I don't even know exactly how far over it goes.
The altitude up here is in the high 9s, not 10, but maybe 97, 98, 99, depending on where you're at on the ridge here.
It is awesome up here. It just goes and goes and goes.
When Alan gets up here, he can't help but think about where he wants to go next.
If you want the steep stuff, you got it. If you want the boondocking in the trees, you got it. If you want to go out on Strawberry Reservoir and race, on the ice, this Strawberry area is just amazing.
Now, once the snow melts, this area becomes an off-road paradise. Recently, Daniel Summit teamed up with Polaris Adventures to rent razors during the summer.
We're excited about that. We think that it's a great program and that'll give us some exposure to people, not just in the west or around us here, but all across the nation.
We'll have to come back next time to ride the razors, because today, it's all about the snow.
I am so glad I'm not working today. Yes.
Oh, it's a gorgeous day. It just does your soul good to get up here on a day like today, doesn't it?
Still to come, we visit Utah's version of Stonehenge. You're watching Destination Polaris.
Destination Polaris is sponsored by Super ATV, your trusted source for high-quality parts and accessories. Kicker and SSB Works, go wherever your music takes you. And by PRP, seats, harnesses, and storage for your UTV. PRP, built for off-road.
Welcome back to DP. I get asked all the time, where's your favorite place to ride? And I'll often say, Utah. The state has some of the most beautiful off-road trails in the country.
We can go down to southern Utah and hit the Red Rocks, the Slick Rocks.
Paiute Trail System, for example, 1,200 miles of designated trails that are beautiful and gorgeous.
Our ride today takes us to a place some people might call magical, mystical, or even spiritual.
Well, for today, I want to take you out to the Spiral Jetty. It's a piece of artwork that's on the north end of the Great Salt Lake.
The Spiral Jetty, huh? Well, let's have a look. To get to the jetty, follow the Pony Express Trail and then hook a left to the Great Salt Lake.
So Gordon, tell me what we're looking at here, man.
Well, it's called the Spiral Jetty. An artist wanted to leave his mark on the earth. This happens to be the north end of the Great Salt Lake. And so he brought dump trucks out here and he used the local lava rock and he made this jetty that's in a spiral shape. Did it back in April of 1970.
Dude, it just goes out and it's just a little swirly circle out there.
When the Great Salt Lake is at its highest level, it's underwater. Obviously today the lake level's fairly low.
We asked for it.
Yeah, you ordered it.
Yeah, we ordered it.
We did that.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
It's neat looking.
Yeah, it's different.
Explain the meaning of this, Gordon.
Something cosmic to the visitors from outer space, probably.
It is Utah. I've been watching people walk out there. Should we give it a run?
Sure, let's go take a hike.
I gotta say, this is probably the weirdest thing I may have ever walked out on.
Built by an American sculptor in April of 1970, the spiral jetty brings in visitors from all over the world. Some to take pictures, others to, well, find the meaning of life, I guess.
So now that we're out here, do we do yoga? Do we do a little seance? What are we supposed to do?
I think somehow you get in touch with your inner self and your Zen moment. So you're centered here in the circle of life.
There you go. You first.
Me first?
Yeah.
Okay, let me strike my pose.
Yeah.
How long have you lived in Utah?
68 in a month.
6+ decades, I won't say 7. You have lived here. How many times have you been here?
This is a first, you know, and I'm embarrassed to say that. The history, and then watching the people come out here today and seeing and listening to them talk about it, and, well, how'd you hear about it? Well, my friends say this is one of the cool places to go see, and here I am for the first time in 67 years, you know, it's pretty cool. Somebody went to a lot of work. Wonder what their vision was. Makes you wonder if, you know, he's trying to communicate with somebody in the sky or something.
Utah's version of Stonehenge?
Probably. That's a good way to put it.
You know, it's interesting to look at. I think the guy had a lot of time on his hands.
Time is all you need in Utah. So scratch out a few days and make the trip.